What's up, y'all? Thank you so much for tuning into this week's vlog. This week is pretty jam-packed and exciting because I went to Mexico with my family. This is most of my family's second time in Mexico, but first time in Playa del Carmen, and my brother's first time in Mexico, so we were gonna have a great time. This is when we just got to the airport lounge. We had a super early flight, so we had to get some breakfast, and we actually drove from South Carolina to Florida to fly to Mexico, so that was a whole trip in itself. But after a super short plane ride, short because I slept the whole time, we landed in Cancun. I love the Cancun airport because as soon as you walk outside, you're walking into a party. There's a mini mart for all your essentials for your vacation and a stand for all your drinks and a little bit of food, a picture spot. There's even a restaurant. Like, this place is the first impression that you get of Mexico, and it is just beautiful. This is also where everybody stands outside to wait for their taxi or their car van that's supposed to pick them up. So we were waiting for our van that was picking us up from like our Airbnb location. But I promise you, we did not mind waiting. Those daiquiris and margaritas was holding us over. So as soon as we arrived in Playa del Carmen and dropped off our luggage at the Airbnb, we went to go eat. Our B&B was very close to this downtown area where there were miles and miles of shops and restaurants and clothing stores, just tourist attractions, things that you can walk around and do. We weren't planning on walking around to look for food for long, so we stopped at this restaurant pretty close by, and it ended up being super good because they handmade their guacamole and salsa. Like, where have you ever seen that before? And looking back, this was probably the top restaurant that we went to this week, just considering the options that they had, meaning not just protein and carbs. Their service was also amazing. Their drinks were super good, and this is a great example to show you what I mean by their service was so good. My dad had asked for the Wi-Fi password like in the middle of them doing this, and he had no problem whipping his phone out and whipping out the QR code that we used to do the Wi-Fi, and that did not stop him from getting his work done and still mashing up the avocado for us. Like, very prompt and on time, multitasking. We see you. You know he got a good tip. I actually recently broke a lemon squeezer and bought a new one like immediately after because I use lemons and limes way too much. Like, how I was gonna survive. And now I see that he uses 2 spoons and a fork to squeeze lemons. Like, this is why you go to Mexico, so you can learn authentic tools. And of course, I got to be the first to try this salsa. They were probably like, give this girl some food so she can sit down and get at our face. Either way, it was so good. The salsa definitely had some kick to it, though. I think they added habanero peppers, like raw. So I had to take my time with the salsa, but it was so good other than that. And they put them in these Mexican stone bowls. Like, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right, and they did it right. And this is my first time trying ceviche ever in my life. I really like it because it's a good option for lots of protein without as many carbs. You know, I still gotta stick to my Whole Foods journey even when I'm traveling. Anyways, this is a beautifully painted car that we had to pretend to drive, and I felt like I almost broke. Moving on, this was a glimpse of the downtown area that I was talking about, just miles and miles of stores and different things to do. And we kept walking and stumbled upon this beautiful mall. I mean, super bougie, full-blown mall. One thing I love about Mexico is how they combine their bougie, luxury, modern structures with their outdoors and nature. Like, this is a beautiful outside mall. Look how they combined the outside trees and palm trees and lights in the mall. Like, where do you find this stuff? Only in Mexico. We weren't super interested in walking around there for too long because you can find that stuff in America. I was more interested in taking pictures of the police cars to compare to our American police cars, and taking pictures of the beautiful flowers with the sunset shining on them and making them this beautiful orange pink color. Like, the camera does not do it justice. Pro tip for vacationing for more than 4 days: go to the grocery store your first day so that you can make breakfast at the house and have any midnight snacks that you don't have to spend extra money on. Especially in a place like Mexico where your dollar conversion is like $18 to 1. Like, that's just obviously a steal. So we had a great time shopping at the local grocery store there. And there happened to be a whole bunch of street tacos right by that local supermarket. So after we dropped off the food back at the Airbnb, we went back out for some street tacos. And they had hibiscus and horchata juice. I mean, 10 out of 10. After a long 48 hours of traveling and getting settled, I woke up super early so that I could have the pool to myself. Just beautiful relaxation time, enjoying some vitamin D, and also just exploring the Airbnb and all they had to offer and what I'm going to be planning for the rest of the week. The pool wasn't open at this time, so I was just using my imagination to come out of the pool bar and have a mimosa. And they also had a game room with like a pool table and ping pong, which was not pictured because I was focused on getting to the gym. This is what I was very excited for and where I would be spending my time. I'm not a pool girl, I'm not a game room girl, I'm a gym girl. And last time I went on vacation, there was a gym, but I didn't realize it until like almost the last day, and then we didn't even have any intentions of working out, if I'm being honest. But this time around, I'm on a different level of commitment. So, I had to check it out, make sure all of the equipment that I needed was there so that I can get right into my workout. I actually started a 30-day program with the Caitlin Nicole, which started on August 1st. And that was the first day that we actually got in Mexico. So, I stayed on my grind. The best way to start your morning is working out so that when you go to get 3 shots with crickets on it, you are not fazed. And yes, I said crickets. This was the first time I actually saw crickets. I've heard people eating crickets and insects, things like this, but I've never actually seen it in real life. This was my first time experience, and the waiter was popping crickets like it was no big deal, and inspired the rest of my family to go ahead and eat crickets, which was a little disturbing for me, but they said it tasted like crunchy chips. They was really eating crickets, roasted, salted. And then they were talking about how they were eating the guts, but they were dehydrated, or because it was cooked, then it was just like crunchy guts. Like, what? Couldn't let that shit happen to me, though. Now, I can do a tequila shot, but I will draw the line at a roasted, salted cricket. I will even eat the lime that the crickets were on, but like my mama said, nope. We are not eating no cricket. And as the bartender said, this is Mexico. You gotta go crazy. Then it was on to our next adventure. We traveled to this beach club and got a bunch of tacos. And I also got some more ceviche. After the first time I tried it, it definitely grew on me. And this was the Senior Frogs on the beach, by the way. Senior Frogs is very popular worldwide, and we said that we were gonna try anything that we can already get in America, but they were having too much fun, so we got the Mexico version of Senior Frog. I got fondled and put my face into bosom, so I actually won. And somebody asked what happens for the guys. They actually get bent over. I don't have video, unfortunately, because my dad would not be happy about that. But trust, it was one of the funniest things that happened all week. Right outside of the beach resort, they were so lively. There was a performance going on right under this beautiful statue of the mermaids. I think it's like merman and mermaids, or just like the Mayan people. Just absolutely beautiful structure. And if you kept walking, there was another beautiful mall where they again put the luxury and the nature beautifully combined together. And they have their nail salon outside. They're doing people's nails while they're watching beautiful scenery. I mean, so creative. And this guy was dressed up and acting like a statue, and he scared somebody. Like, that's the stuff you only see on like TikTok and stuff. We got to experience that. And there was a lot more performances going on in the street. I felt so immersed in the culture with being able to see all these dresses and their dances and the music, and even seeing everything as you're driving by or even driving on the roads. It's just so different being in a different country. So we did get mopeds a little bit earlier. That's how we actually got to the beach resort, but this is us driving back, and you saw even more of like the street tacos and the people with their shops on the side. And we were headed back to the Airbnb so we can clean up and explore some more. So we got dressed and went out for dinner. This was probably the second best restaurant that we went to. It was like a Mediterranean restaurant, and they gave us like a banana hummus, and they had baklava. I haven't had baklava in so long, and it just hit the spot so perfectly. My boyfriend got this huge piece of pie, and he actually had the 2 entrees of the ribeye and the salmon. That boy can eat, let me tell you what. While we were on our dessert, he was on his second entree. So we definitely enjoyed ourselves and filled ourselves up. We were planning to go to the club after we ate, but we got so full and just wanted to head back to the room and take a nap. Day 3 was when things actually started to get seriously crazy. We expected a nice boat day where we were going to snorkel and spend quality time with the fam while looking over the ocean. It definitely turned into, is that your 4th tequila sunrise in the last 30 minutes? But that's what Mexico is about, right? To create all these experiences and memories that you look back and say, wow, that was so stupid, but we can laugh about it now. And that's me just looking pretty, getting on the boat. This is my thick season in my cute little dress. Okay, you see me. And the water looks so beautiful. Like, it was so peaceful just to watch the waves roll under us. But that was the only peaceful part about this boat ride. Let me give y'all the rundown. I promise you, with these boat trips, they do it on purpose because they start at 8 a.m. and we had to travel an hour to get there. So we had to wake up mad early. We didn't have time for breakfast because we got 10 people to take care of. And when you get on the boat at 8 a.m., they're not offering you water and orange juice. They're offering you rum and coke and tequila sunrises. And I do not look happy in this because I was actually assaulted by by my little brother because he threw the scuba fin at my head and it actually hurt really bad. And that was the start of the chaos for the day. I wasn't planning on going scuba diving in the first place because I don't really like to go underwater like that. So I was just being a grandma with my parents and stayed on the boat recording everything in pictures because that was requested. So at least I was doing, you know, what somebody asked. This was my favorite video capture. That's my boyfriend dragging my air quotes little sister. If we were gonna put her with anybody, that was gonna be him. That's that military training, okay? So this was one of the stops. We finally made it to Playa del Mujeres. You see, I picked up a lot of Spanish now. I'm basically a native Mexican. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, that means beach of women, I think. I know playa means beach, but that's all I'm confident in right now. But we walked around the downtown area. I didn't get a lot of video footage because I was actually taking care of sloppy drunks. So sloppy that they were knocked out on the boat ride back to Playa del Carmen. When we got back to the B&B, they were out cold, and I wanted to go out this night because we didn't go out the night before and we were planning to, so I had it in my mind that I just was like going to go out tonight and see the nightlife. I was really adamant about walking by myself, not taking into the account that I am a woman walking by myself in a foreign country, and I did end up being followed, which made my life kind of flash before my eyes. After trying to dodge this Indian looking guy that was like sitting next to me and following me into the stores, I was starting to get a little nervous, and this group of black people saw that I was kind of getting flustered, and they helped to separate me from this guy. Like, they slowed down because they were a big group and blocked off the pathway until I could get to a safe path. And this is me finally recording because I felt safe enough when I should have been maybe recording before, but I felt like if I was recording then I would have my guard down, and I was not trying to have my guard down. And maybe he thought I was an easy target because I had my headphones on, but I was conscious about that. That's why I didn't put them on fully. And I would say to stay where more people are, but that's where he was following me, and then he wasn't following me where it was less people. And it made me think about it. People might try to steal you in an overwhelmingly crowded area because there's so much going on. People might not notice what's going on. And there was more police on this path, so I felt much more safe getting home. So we started day 4 grateful to be alive and well, starting right off at the gym, getting rid of that stress and filling myself with dopamine and serotonin, okay? I also just want to make sure y'all see I be putting in that work, okay? So we got ready and headed to Choctoon, yeah. I think that's how you say it, Lord forgive me. This is where we were doing our cenote tour. I wasn't able to bring my phone with me because we were in the water the whole time, but I got there before. This is me in my life vest. They provided life vest, water shoes, and goggles, but I did not grab goggles because I wasn't putting that on my face. I know, I can be disgustingly bougie sometimes, but I still enjoyed myself. We saw lots and lots of bats, like almost disgustingly in their natural habitat. Like, I've never seen that many bats in one place at one time. It was a little disturbing. And the water was freezing, but it was a beautiful sight to see. You could flash your light and the water gave a perfect reflection of the roof, and then you could see perfectly with your flashlight underneath the water. And the spikes that came down from the roof for every 5.5 centimeters was 100 years of growth. After the beautiful freezing cold bat cave, we went out for dinner at a restaurant with the same name as my mama. Now y'all, this food was the best tasting. The only reason why it wasn't the best in my opinion because the options were only pizza and pasta, so lots of carbs, but carbs was worth it because that octopus, them mussels, beyond fantastic. So we finally made it out to the clubs this night, y'all. My honey got me some roses because he loves me, y'all. And we got beers for the table. Everybody else drinks beers except for me and my boyfriend, so we were just enjoying the limes. Pro tip, always carry a Tide pen on you so you can eat apologetically and still look good at the club. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this club, even though it was the club that we just decided to go to pass time until everybody got out. Because it was still kind of early, before 10, but they were like the littest. We had this like conga line going on, and it was so fun. The music was jumping. Whoever the DJ was mixing them so well, and the girls' outfits were so cute. It was like a sports bar, so they were in cheerleader costumes. Like, I would do something like that. And this is just us enjoying ourselves, enjoying the music. I'm telling y'all, the DJ was fire, and you could feel the vibrations, you know, on the chair. Like, that's how you know you are living good. This was club number 2. This was the one that we were more excited about going to because they just had the hype for it, and they had this rooftop, super cool. They had the hookah. They were just a little overcrowded and messy. We were waiting for people to come out, but not this many people. Always remember to appreciate what you got at first. Nevertheless, we're still going to enjoy ourselves. I got myself a little hookah, got myself a little drink, got myself a little dance. We had a great time. This was our last full day in Playa del Carmen, and we were trying to be very chill. We had tickets to this beach club where we could sit and relax on the beach while being serviced with some more tacos. But this one is actually an octopus taco, and I had a fish taco. This was the only place that had seafood tacos that weren't just shrimp. Thank goodness, because I'm not a shrimp person myself, but those octopus tacos were so good. This was actually my favorite part. They had dancers in Care Bear bikinis and fluffy leg warmers. Y'all know I picked the perfect seat so I could see their beautiful booties, beautiful dance moves. I mean, just the highlight of my day. And later that night, we went out and I did something kind of crazy, psycho, and wild. But like my bartender said a couple of days ago, you're in Mexico and you have to be wild in Mexico. I got a tattoo, actually 2 tattoos, one on my hand and one on my neck. Now the hand did hurt. At first it didn't hurt, but when it got close to the knuckles it started to hurt, and then when he kept going over the lines it started to swell, and then he wanted to color in the mushroom parts and I was like, I can't do it anymore. The neck tat did not hurt. I have a tat on my chest, come on now. But he really did a beautiful job. The penmanship was perfect and he was fast, and I got a freaking tattoo in Mexico. I thought that was a perfect cherry on top to end my vacation so I can go home with permanent memories. The next day we unfortunately had a super early flight, so we left like 6 a.m. Luckily, they still have our lounge ready for us, so we got again to the lounge to get some breakfast. They also had sleeping pods and a bar, so you know we enjoyed ourselves before our flight. And all the food and drinks are free, so you know we packed some for the plane ride too. And like I said before, we had a 7-hour drive from Florida back to South Carolina. Very grateful and blessed to have a house in Florida that we can chill at and have a little mini vacation on the way back up to reality. And that's me peeping my new tattoo, being all casual, seeing how people would see it if they were just walking by. And my new mushroom tat, which is so crazy. I'm looking at my hand like, wow, I am actually kind of psycho for doing this, but I love it. But this was our recap of our 2023 Mexico trip. Make sure that you're subscribed so you can keep up with my future vlogs of things like this. Comment below if you've ever been to Mexico and which part, or if you ever want to go to Mexico and which part. Thanks for watching, y'all. I will see y'all next week.